So I'm about to pull a meatloaf off of the Traeger Timberline XL, and I completely forgot to do an intro, I think. So I'm doing it right now. So this will be the first part of the video, and we'll take you back and show you what we did to make it and get it on the smoker, and then we'll bring it off and cut off a piece and see how we did. So thanks for joining here at Buckeye Barbecue. Okay, let's show you what we did to get this meatloaf together. So I've already got in the bowl here a pound each of ground pork and ground beef, and that ground beef is 80-20. Ground pork is pork shoulder, so that's probably 25% fat, give or take. So let's throw this together. I'm gonna go ahead and just get my eggs cracked in here just because I have them sitting on top of the salt and pepper. So just a couple of eggs, one egg for each pound is sort of what I like to do. Pound of meat, I should say. So we'll get those in there. I've got a teaspoon for each pound of meat of both salt and pepper, so that's 2 teaspoons apiece. I may not go through all these measurements, but I'll put the 1 pound of meat recipe in this in the description of the video. So that was our salt and pepper and our eggs. I've got some chopped onion here. It's essentially 2 smaller onions, or excuse me, it's 1 good size onion, but you could use 1 small onion for each pound of meat. That's sort of the way I like to do it. Got our salt, got our pepper, got our egg. We need breadcrumbs. I like to use panko, but these are just regular breadcrumbs, and it's a 1/2 cup or a 1/4 cup for each pound of meat. And then I've got some tomato sauce, and hang with me for a second. We're going to use this can of tomato sauce, and we're going to just use about 1/4 of it. And I'm not measuring, I'm not going to measure out the ounces. In fact, I probably used a little bit too much there, but it's totally fine. But about 1/4 of that 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And then we are just going to mix, and my hands are already gloved. This pork is just thawing out, so there's a little bit in the center that's a little frozen, but that's fine. Get that broken up good. Just go through and get this all mixed. So I won't keep you here for all of this. I'll bring you back when this is all mixed, and we'll go from there. All right, so there is our meatloaf all mixed up and ready to go. And so I'm going to take off one of these gloves, move the bowl out of the way, and I've got a cooling rack in a sheet tray, 1/4 sheet tray, and I've just got some parchment paper on top of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our loaf and just put it right down on there. And this is going to go in the fridge, let it come together a little bit. So I'm going to get this to the fridge. As a matter of fact, let's just do the next step real fast. So this will end up in the fridge, but while we're here, we're going to make our glaze for our meatloaf. And here's how we're going to do that. I'm just going to use this bowl that I had the onion in. That'll be totally fine. I've got my tomato sauce that I used 1/4 of, and I ended up probably using about 1/3 of it, really. So we're going to dump that in there. You know what? Actually, I'm going to use this bowl. So we're just going to dump that in there. There we go. Got a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and I use the W sauce. This happens to be the Fireshire because it's what I grabbed. I'm just going to put probably about a tablespoon in there. I love that W sauce. I've got just some regular yellow mustard. There we go. About a teaspoon or so. And I've got some barbecue sauce here. I'm using this because my son got it for me for my birthday. So we're going to add about the same amount as the mustard. Here we go. It's got a good smoky flavor. And last but not least, I've got some brown sugar, and we are going to add about a tablespoon, and I'm going to be prepared to add more if I want it to be sweeter, but for starting, just going to get that mixed together. With my giant whisk. And you could certainly just use ketchup here. You could use barbecue sauce, whatever kind of glaze you want, or no glaze at all for that matter. Just going to try that. I'm going to go sweeter. Going to use another tablespoon of brown sugar. That's going to be plenty of glaze. Have some left over, but this sauce is actually really good. It's really just a barbecue sauce is what it ends up being. That's outstanding. So there we go. So our meatloaf is going to go in the refrigerator. Our glaze is going to go in the refrigerator. And we're going to see you out at the cooker. All right, so we're going to get the Traeger Timberline XL started up here. And we're going to set it to 375, full of pellets. And if I remember right, these are hickory. I wouldn't swear to that. No matter what it is, it'll be fine for this meatloaf. So I'm going to crank this up. And it'll probably take 20 minutes or so to come to temperature. So we'll take it to 375. There we go. And I've got my probe that I'll plug in when I bring the meatloaf out. I'm just going to use the wired probe from the Traeger. It's got 2 ports, and that'll be good for this cook. So while this is heating, a couple of things. The thing that I think is cool about meatloaf is you can make it any way you want. If you like green peppers and want them in your meatloaf, go for it. If you wanted jalapeno peppers, go for it. If you like mushrooms, which I pretty much don't like mushrooms, you can add mushrooms. So do meatloaf however you want. I will put the recipe that I generally followed, but even today I didn't exactly follow the recipe. So it's just cool to make it the way you like it and the way your family likes it. Doing it on the smoker is great, adds nice flavor to it, but certainly you can do it in your oven as well. I think the last meatloaf video I did it on the offset cooker, which was kind of fun. Today I'm going for set it and forget it type cooking, so we're just going to do it on the pellet cooker. And while I'm thinking about it, this recipe that I'm using today is inspired by, and it's fairly close to it, a channel I found on YouTube called Celebrating Appalachia, or Appalachia, however you want to pronounce it. But Tipper on that channel's got some pretty good recipes. She is one of the reasons I make homemade biscuits now, a lot, far more than the frozen kind. Just easy biscuits to do, and I pretty much got them from her. So anyway, check out Celebrating Appalachia sometime. It's a decent channel, and I wanted to give her credit for this meatloaf, and we'll get it out here soon. So see you in a little bit. All right, we're going to get this meatloaf on. The cooker is preheated to its 375, and I've got the probe inserted. I've got the alarm set to go off at 150. That'll be when I start glazing it. I'll pull it off at 160 even. Carry over, I'll take it up to a safe 165. And so we should be good. Oh, I did this wrong. So I'm actually going to put this tray underneath and then the rack on top. Try to get as much smoke on that as possible. So there we go. We're just going to shut this, and I probably am not even going to open this until we come back at 150 degrees, which I'm guessing will be around 75 to 90 minutes. So we will bring you back. Oh, you mother effer. All right, so we've reached our 150 degrees internal. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, that's gorgeous. I'm gonna move the camera just a second. Hope you can see that. Really looks pretty. So I am going to baste this with our sauce we made with that tomato sauce and vinegar and brown sugar and Worcestershire. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to let this now go up 10 more degrees to 160. Carryover heat will take it up to our 165. And we'll be good. So I think I'm just going to let this go up to 10 degrees. Go ahead and get the camera in, and I will bring you back after I take it in and get it on the cutting board. Because after I do this one layer of glaze, that's all I'm going to do to this until I take it off. So I will bring you back. Okay, we're starving here, so I'm going to make this quick. Turned out great. I love the color. That glaze has that shine on top, which I really like. Let this go to 160. It's been resting 5 or 10 minutes. Really could have rested longer, but ready to eat here. Looks great on the inside, even have a little bit of a smoke ring. Oop, gonna give it a try. I'm actually not in love with meatloaf, but I really like this recipe, and it sounded great today, and it is. So we will see you next time at Buckeye Barbecue. Recipe will be in the description. Give this a try sometime. Cook it in the oven if you want to. I've done it on the offset smoker, and now I've done it on the pellet grill. So see you next time. Like and subscribe if you don't mind.